The massive alien ship moved slowly through the darkness of space, far beyond where human eyes could see. Admiral Krell stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the blue and green planet that hung in the distance like a jewel. Earth looked so small and helpless from here, so easy to take. For 3 years the Zephyrian ships had been watching this world. They had sent small scout vessels to study the humans who lived there. The reports all said the same thing. These creatures were weak. They fought each other over small pieces of land. They wasted time on things that did not help them survive. They made pictures and music instead of weapons. They were perfect targets. Krell picked up the datapad and read through the intelligence. Reports again. The humans had primitive rockets that could barely leave their planet. Their weapons shot simple metal bullets. They had no energy shields to protect their cities. Most of their people did not even know how to fight. They spent their days growing food, making things to sell, and playing games. The Admiral smiled, showing his sharp teeth. This would be the easiest conquest in the history of the Zephyrian Empire. His fleet of 200 warships could destroy this entire world in a matter of hours. But the Empire did not want to destroy Earth. They wanted its resources. They wanted its water and metals. Most of all, they wanted its location. Earth sat at the perfect spot between several star systems. Whoever controlled this world would control the trade routes for this entire region of space. The humans did not even realize how valuable their home was. They just lived their simple lives, never looking up at the stars to see the danger that waited there. Commander Lisa Martinez floated through the corridors of the International Space Station, checking the instruments like she did every day. She had been living in space for 6 months now, conducting experiments and maintaining the station. It was routine work, and she liked the peaceful quiet of orbit around Earth. But today something was different. The gravitational sensors were showing strange readings at the edge of the solar system. Massive objects were moving out there, bigger than anything humans had ever built. Lisa frowned and ran the scans again. The readings were the same. She activated the communication system and called down to Earth. "Ground control, this is the ISS. We're getting some unusual readings on our deep space sensors. Can you confirm what we're seeing?" Down on Earth, Dr. Stephen Burke was working late in his office at the Global Defense Initiative headquarters. The call from the space station came through on his secure line. He listened to Lisa's report and felt his stomach tighten. For years he had been preparing for this day. He had hoped it would never come. Burke pulled up the classified sensor network that most people did not know existed. Hidden stations on the moon and throughout the solar system had been tracking the alien ships for weeks. The readings confirmed what he had feared. A massive alien fleet was positioning itself around Earth. He picked up his phone and made a call that would change everything. "This is Burke. Authorization code Alpha 779. We have a confirmed alien presence. Initiate Protocol 7 immediately." Across the world, other people were making similar calls. President Karen Wells was pulled from a dinner meeting and rushed to the underground command center beneath Washington. She had been briefed on the possibility of alien contact, but she had never expected it to happen during her time in office. TSAP. Command Center was already buzzing with activity when she arrived. Military officers and scientists were working at computer terminals, tracking the alien ships and trying to understand their capabilities. General Hayes approached the president with a grim expression. "Madam President, we count 200 alien vessels of various sizes. The largest ones are over 2 miles long. They're positioning themselves throughout the solar system, but they haven't made any aggressive moves yet." Wells nodded and took her seat at the head of the situation table. "What are our options, General? We're implementing the protocols we've discussed. Our people are moving to their assigned positions. Dr. Burke's team is analyzing the alien technology from the sensor readings. We're as ready as we can be." Captain Ryan Davis received his orders at the same time as hundreds of other military officers around the world. He was told to report to a facility he had never heard of, buried deep beneath the Colorado mountains. When he arrived, he found a massive underground complex filled with equipment and weapons he did not recognize. A colonel briefed him quickly. "Captain, you've been selected for Operation Guardian. Everything you see here is classified beyond Top secret. You're about to learn that our military capabilities are far more advanced than the public knows. Ryan looked around at the strange technology surrounding him. Ships that seemed to bend light around them. Weapons that hummed with energy he could not identify. Soldiers wearing armor that looked like it came from a science fiction movie. Sir, what exactly is Operation Guardian? It's humanity's real defense system, Captain. What the world sees is just for show. Our actual military is somewhat more capable than we let on. Meanwhile, Admiral Krell was growing impatient. His scouts had confirmed that the humans were aware of the fleet's presence. Radio chatter from their planet had increased dramatically. Their primitive military forces were moving to what they probably thought were defensive positions. The Admiral decided it was time to make contact. He ordered his communications officer to send a message to Earth using all available frequencies. The message was simple and direct. People of Earth, you are now subjects of the Zephyrian Empire. You have 72 hours to surrender unconditionally, lay down all weapons and prepare for occupation. Any resistance will result in the complete destruction of your world. You cannot fight us. You cannot hide from us. You cannot win. Surrender now, and your deaths will be quick. The message was received simultaneously by every radio, television, and internet connection on Earth. Panic spread through major cities as people realized they were not alone in the universe. Stock markets crashed. Governments scrambled to maintain order. But in the hidden facilities around the world, a different kind of preparation was taking place. Dr. Rachel Green worked frantically in her laboratory beneath Geneva, analyzing the alien communication signal. What she found made her smile for the first time in days. They're using quantum-entangled particles for faster-than-light communication, she told her assistant. But they're doing it wrong. They have no idea about quantum interference patterns. This gives us a massive advantage. Similar discoveries were being made in secret facilities across Earth. The aliens were advanced, but they had weaknesses. More importantly, they had no idea what humans were truly capable of. President Wells appeared on television screens around the world. She looked calm and confident as she addressed the frightened population. My fellow citizens of Earth, we face an unprecedented challenge. But I want you to know that we are not defenseless. We have been preparing for this possibility for decades. Stay calm. Stay strong. Trust in humanity's ability to protect itself. We will not surrender. We will not give up. And we will show these invaders why they should never have come to our world. Admiral Krell watched the human leader's speech and laughed. Such brave words from such a weak species. In 72 hours, this woman would be dead, and her planet would belong to the Empire. The humans could posture all they wanted. It would not save them. He had no idea that his every word was being recorded, his ship's position tracked, and his technology analyzed by minds that understood warfare in ways the Zephyrian Empire had never imagined. The trap was set. The aliens had taken the bait. Now humanity would show them what happened when someone threatened Earth. The countdown to war had begun, and the Zephyrians had no idea they were about to learn the most important lesson in galactic history. Some species looked weak because they chose to look weak. And those were the most dangerous species of all. The 72 hours passed like a countdown to doom. Across Earth, millions of people watched the skies and waited. Some prayed, some cried. Some prepared to fight with whatever weapons they could find. But most just waited and hoped that somehow their leaders would find a way to save them. Admiral Krell stood on his bridge and watched the timer reach 0. The humans had not responded to his demand for surrender. Their leaders had remained silent after that first defiant speech. It was time to show them the price of resistance. Begin the assault, Krell ordered. Target their major population centers first. I want them to understand what they're facing. The Zephyrian fleet opened fire. Massive energy beams erupted from the alien warships, crossing the darkness of space in seconds. The first target was New York City. The beam struck the center of Manhattan like the finger of an angry god, vaporizing buildings in an instant and leaving a crater where the financial district had been. Similar attacks hit London, Tokyo, Mumbai, and dozens of other major cities around the world. Each blast was carefully calculated to cause maximum terror while leaving the surrounding areas intact. The aliens wanted to show their power, not destroy the planet they planned to occupy. Colonel Jake Sullivan watched the destruction from his command center deep beneath the Rocky Mountains. The facility had been built during the Cold War and expanded over the decades into something far more sophisticated. Screens showed the alien attacks hitting cities across the globe. Each explosion represented thousands of dead. "Sir, we're getting reports from all major population centers," his aide reported. "The attacks are surgical. They're trying to break our will to fight." Jake nodded grimly. "What's the status of our response?" "All conventional forces are engaging as planned. We're launching everything we have at them." On the surface, the human military response looked exactly like what the aliens expected. Fighter jets scrambled from air bases around the world, their missiles streaking toward the alien ships. Naval vessels fired their most powerful weapons at the hovering invaders. Army units set up defensive positions around the targeted cities. The results were predictably disappointing. Human missiles exploded harmlessly against alien energy shields. Fighter jets were swatted from the sky by defensive weapons that moved faster than the human pilots could react. The alien ships seemed completely immune to everything Earth's military could throw at them. Admiral Krell watched the pathetic human resistance with satisfaction. "Their weapons are even more primitive than our intelligence suggested. Order the second wave to begin landing operations." Massive transport ships descended from the alien fleet toward Earth's surface. Each one carried thousands of Zephyrian soldiers in powered armor, along with heavy weapons and vehicles designed for occupation duty. The transports landed in the smoking ruins of the attacked cities and began disgorging their cargo of invaders. The Zephyrian soldiers were 7 feet tall and covered in dark armor that made them look like mechanical demons. Their weapons fired beams of energy that could cut through concrete and steel. They moved through the ruins with practiced efficiency, setting up command posts and establishing control over the devastated areas. But something else was happening that the aliens did not immediately notice. As their ships landed and their soldiers spread out, strange readings began appearing on their sensors. The atmosphere around their landing zones was changing in ways that made no scientific sense. Dr. Rachel Green worked frantically in her hidden laboratory as the attack unfolded above. Her team had been monitoring the alien technology since the moment they arrived, and they had made several important discoveries. "The atmospheric processors they're using," she explained to her assistant, "over the communication link, they're designed to convert our air into something their species can breathe. But they're using a brute force approach. If we can introduce certain compounds into the air around their landing zones, we can turn their own technology against them." Above ground, the Zephyrian soldiers began to notice problems. Their breathing apparatus designed to filter the converted atmosphere started malfunctioning. The air that should have been safe for them was becoming toxic. Several soldiers collapsed before their commanders realized something was wrong. Captain Ryan Davis led his squad through the underground tunnels that connected the hidden facilities. They had been ordered to observe the alien landing and report back on enemy capabilities. What they found was both encouraging and terrifying. "The aliens are having environmental problems," he reported back to command. "Their atmospheric conversion isn't working properly, but their weapons are incredibly powerful. Our surface forces are taking heavy casualties." The conventional human military was indeed suffering badly. Tank columns were destroyed by alien energy weapons. Infantry units armed with rifles and rocket launchers found their weapons useless against alien armor. The few human aircraft that managed to get close to the alien ships were destroyed before they could inflict any damage. But the aliens were also discovering that conquering Earth was not going to be as simple as they had expected. The humans fought with a ferocity that surprised them. Even when outgunned and outmatched, human soldiers continued fighting until they were killed. Civilians armed with hunting rifles and homemade explosives harassed alien patrols. The resistance was unorganized, but determined. More troubling for the Zephyrians was the fact that human technology seemed inconsistent. Most of their weapons were primitive, but occasionally the aliens encountered equipment that was far more advanced than it should be. Defensive positions that should have been easy to overrun turned out to have energy shields. Communication systems that looked simple somehow managed to resist alien jamming. Admiral Krell received increasingly confused reports from his ground commanders. "Sir, the humans are fighting harder than expected, and some of their technology doesn't match our intelligence reports." "Elaborate, Commander." "Well, sir, most of their equipment is exactly as primitive as we thought, but we've encountered isolated examples of much more advanced systems. It's like they have two completely different levels of technology." Krell considered this information. It was possible that the humans had some advanced technology that they kept hidden, but their overall response was still pathetically weak. "Continue the operation as planned. A few surprises are to be expected." What Admiral Krell did not know was that the human response was proceeding exactly according to plan. The conventional forces engaging the aliens were meant to be seen and destroyed. They were a distraction, drawing alien attention away from humanity's real capabilities. In facilities hidden deep underground and in space stations concealed behind asteroids, the true human military was preparing for the next phase of the operation. Weapons that had never been tested in combat were being powered up. Ships that the public had never seen were moving into position. Soldiers trained in technologies the aliens could not imagine were getting ready to strike. Dr. Stephen Burke coordinated the effort from his command center. Reports flowed in from around the world as the alien invasion progressed. The losses were heavy, but they were acceptable. Every alien ship that landed was being tracked. Every enemy position was being mapped. The aliens thought they were winning a war, but they were actually walking into a trap. "Phase 1 is complete," Burke reported to President Wells. "The aliens have committed most of their forces to surface operations. They think they're facing our primary military response." "What are our casualty estimates?" the President asked. "Heavy as expected, but within acceptable parameters for the operation. The aliens are exactly where we want them." Wells nodded. She had known this day would be costly in human lives, but the alternative was slavery or extinction. Proceed to Phase 2. Across the globe, hidden facilities received the authorization code. Systems that had been dormant for years came online. Weapons that violated several laws of physics charged up for firing. The real war was about to begin. Admiral Krell stood on his bridge, reviewing the tactical situation. His forces controlled major cities on 3 continents. Human resistance was scattered and ineffective. The conquest of Earth was proceeding, ahead of schedule. He had no idea that he was about to learn why attacking humanity had been the biggest mistake in Zephyrian history. The first sign that something was wrong came when the radio telescope in Australia simply vanished from Admiral Krell's sensors. One moment it was there, a large dish pointing at the stars like all the primitive human astronomy equipment. The next moment there was only empty space and a crater that glowed with strange energy. The radio telescope had not been destroyed. It had transformed. The massive dish rotated on hidden mechanisms and focused on the nearest Zephyrian ship. A beam of concentrated energy erupted from its center, punching through the alien vessel's shields like they were made of paper. The ship exploded in a ball of fire that lit up the night sky. Similar transformations were happening across the globe. Weather monitoring stations that had looked innocent for decades suddenly revealed arrays of electromagnetic pulse cannons. Civilian satellites in orbit stopped pretending to study climate and began firing kinetic weapons at alien ships. Communication towers became particle beam projectors that could slice through starship hulls. General Patricia Hayes watched the global transformation from her command center. For 50 years, humanity had been building a defense network disguised as civilian infrastructure. Every major observatory, weather station, and communication facility on Earth had a hidden military purpose. The aliens had been watching Earth for 3 years and had never suspected a thing. "All stations report ready," her aide announced. "The masquerade is over." "Good," Hayes replied. "Signal all units. Phase 2 is active. Show them what we really are." The transformation was not limited to Earth's surface. In the asteroid belt, what the aliens had classified as mining operations suddenly revealed their true nature. Captain Alex Stone stood on the bridge of the stealth destroyer Phoenix as it emerged from behind Jupiter's massive radiation field. The ship had been hiding there for 2 years, invisible to alien sensors. The Phoenix was unlike anything in the public human fleet. Its hull seemed to bend light around it, making it nearly impossible to see even at close range. Its weapons were based on principles that human scientists had discovered decades ago, but kept carefully hidden from the world. The ship could phase in and out of normal space, making it effectively untouchable by conventional weapons. "All hands, this is the captain," Stone announced over the ship's communication system. "We've been waiting for this day for a long time. Let's show these invaders why they picked the wrong species to mess with." The Phoenix struck the first alien ship without warning. Its phase weapons passed through the enemy's energy shields as if they did not exist, striking directly at the ship's hull. The Zephyrian vessel simply ceased to exist, its atoms scattered across space. The aliens had never seen anything like it. Similar attacks were happening throughout the solar system. Ships that had been disguised as research vessels or asteroid miners revealed weapon systems that the Zephyrians could not understand. Human vessels appeared from hiding places the aliens had never suspected, using technology that seemed to ignore the basic laws of physics. Lieutenant Commander Nina Foster led a squadron of fighters that had been hidden in a hollowed-out asteroid near Mars. Her ship was equipped with reality displacement weapons that could make objects exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. When she fired at an alien cruiser, the weapon passed through every possible version of the ship's location, ensuring a hit that could not be avoided or defended against. "This is Red Leader," she reported to the fleet. "Target destroyed. These weapons work even better than the simulations predicted." The alien fleet was in chaos. Ships that had seemed invincible were exploding all around them. Weapons that should not have been possible were tearing through their formations. Admiral Krell struggled to understand what was happening. "Report," he shouted at his communications officer. "Where are these attacks coming from?" "Sir, we're detecting human vessels throughout the system. Ships we never knew existed. Their technology is far more advanced than our intelligence indicated." "That's impossible," Krell snarled. "We've been watching them for 3 years. Their most advanced ships barely leave their planet's orbit." "Yes, sir. But the evidence suggests otherwise. They've been hiding a significant military presence throughout their solar system." On Earth's surface, the alien ground forces were discovering that they had walked into a carefully prepared trap. Major Danny Cooper led a squad of soldiers in powered armor that incorporated technology the Zephyrians had never encountered. The human soldiers moved through enemy positions like ghosts, their equipment adapting to alien defenses faster than countermeasures could be developed. Cooper's armor was equipped with adaptive camouflage that could mimic any environment, energy, shields that could deflect alien weapons, and strength enhancement that let him lift objects weighing several tons. His weapon was a plasma rifle that could adjust its output to penetrate any type of armor or shield. "Target acquired," he reported to his team as he watched a group of Zephyrian soldiers setting up a command post. "Moving to engage." The aliens never saw him coming. Cooper moved through their position like a force of nature, his weapon cutting through their ranks before they could react. When they tried to return fire, their energy beams passed harmlessly through the space where he had been standing. The human ground forces were revealing capabilities that made the alien invaders look primitive by comparison. Soldiers who had seemed helplessly outgunned were now demonstrating technology that the Zephyrians could not even classify. Human weapons that had appeared crude were revealed to be disguised versions of incredibly advanced systems. Dr. Burke's analysis teams were working at incredible speed, reverse engineering captured alien technology and then improving upon it within hours. Weapons that had taken the Zephyrians centuries to develop were being outclassed by human innovations created in a single day. "We've completed analysis of their shield technology," Dr. Burke reported to General Hayes. "It's actually quite primitive, once you understand the underlying principles. Our new weapons can penetrate it easily." "What about their faster-than-light communication system?" "Even more interesting, they're using quantum entanglement, but they're doing it inefficiently. We can not only intercept their messages, we can inject false information into their communication network." The tide of battle was turning rapidly. Alien ships that had seemed unstoppable were being destroyed by weapons they could not defend against. Ground forces that had been conquering human cities were being systematically eliminated by soldiers who fought like they came from a more advanced civilization. Admiral Krell's flagship shuddered as it was struck by a weapon that seemed to age the ship's hull by thousands of years in seconds. Systems that had been functioning perfectly suddenly failed as their components crumbled to dust. The ship's structural integrity was compromised in ways that should have been impossible. "Sir, we're losing ships faster than we can count them," his tactical officer reported. "The humans have weapons we don't understand. Our shields and armor are useless against them." Krell could not believe what he was hearing. The Zephyrian Empire had conquered dozens of worlds. Their technology was the most advanced in the galaxy. How could a primitive species like humanity have weapons that could outclass them so completely? The answer was becoming clear as more human vessels appeared throughout the solar system. These were not the crude rockets and simple satellites that the aliens had observed. These were warships designed by a species that understood warfare in ways the Zephyrians had never imagined. Lieutenant Sam Parker fired his experimental weapon at another alien cruiser. The beam seemed to attack the ship's molecular structure directly, causing it to collapse in on itself. The technology was based on research that humanity had been conducting in secret for decades. "Another one down," Parker reported. "Sir, at this rate we'll have cleared the system within hours." Admiral Helen Price commanded the human space fleet as it pursued the fleeing Zephyrian vessels. Her ships could travel faster than the aliens had thought possible, and their weapons could strike at distances the enemy could not match. "This is Admiral Price to all human vessels," she announced over the fleet communication system. "The alien fleet is in full retreat. Continue pursuit. Do not let any of them escape our solar system without sending a message back to their empire." The message was simple, but clear. Earth was not the helpless world the aliens had expected. Humanity had been preparing for this day for decades, and they were ready to show the galaxy what happened when someone threatened their home. The Zephyrian invasion was turning into a disaster that would change the balance of power throughout the galaxy. The Zephyrian retreat was unlike anything in their military history. Ships that had dominated space battles across the galaxy were fleeing in panic from weapons they could not understand. Admiral Krell watched his fleet scatter as human vessels appeared from every direction, striking with precision that seemed impossible. "Sir, we need to withdraw to the outer system," his tactical officer pleaded. "We're losing ships faster than we can count. The humans have technology that makes our weapons look like toys." Krell's pride as a military commander warred with his survival instincts. The Zephyrian Empire had never retreated from a primitive species, but the evidence was undeniable. His invasion force was being systematically destroyed by an enemy that fought unlike anything he had ever encountered. "Signal all ships," he ordered reluctantly. "Begin withdrawal to the edge of the system. We need to regroup and reassess the situation." But the humans were not content to simply drive off the invaders. Admiral Helen Price had different plans for the alien fleet. Her ships moved to intercept the retreating Zephyrians, cutting off their escape routes with a precision that spoke of careful planning. "This is Admiral Price to all human vessels," she announced. "The aliens came here to conquer us. They attacked our cities and killed our people. We're going to make sure they understand the consequences of that decision." The human fleet moved like a well-coordinated machine. Ships that had been hidden throughout the solar system emerged from concealment to block every possible escape route. The aliens found themselves trapped in a sphere of human vessels, each one armed with weapons that could destroy their ships with ease. Captain Alex Stone guided the Phoenix through the alien formation, his phase weapons striking targets that could not defend themselves. The stealth destroyer was invisible to alien sensors, appearing only long enough to fire before vanishing again into the quantum foam between dimensions. "Target their command ships first," Stone ordered his weapons officer. "Let's see how well they coordinate without their leaders." The Phoenix materialized directly behind Admiral Krell's flagship, its weapons charging for a killing shot. But instead of destroying the ship, Stone fired a different kind of weapon. The alien vessel's engine simply stopped working, leaving it drifting helplessly in space. "Admiral Krell," Stone's voice came over the alien communication system. "This is Captain Stone of the Earth Defense Corps. You are now our prisoner. Surrender your remaining forces or we will destroy them one by one. On the planet's surface, the alien ground forces were facing a similar situation. What had started as a conquest was turning into a massacre. Human soldiers in advanced armor moved through Zephyrian positions with devastating efficiency, using tactics that the aliens could not counter. Major Danny Cooper led his squad through the ruins of what had been New York City. The aliens had destroyed the buildings, but they had not expected the humans to fight back with such incredible ferocity. Every street had become a battlefield where human technology proved superior to anything the invaders possessed. Contact ahead, Cooper's sensor operator reported. Alien command post heavily defended. Cooper studied the tactical display. The aliens had set up their position in what used to be Central Park, surrounded by energy barriers and automated defense systems. It should have been impossible for human forces to assault. Wilson, bring up the matter disruptor, Cooper ordered. Let's show them what happens when they dig in. Private Wilson activated a device that looked like a simple metal box. The weapon sent out waves of energy that caused the alien defensive barriers to simply cease existing. The Zephyrian soldiers inside the perimeter found themselves completely exposed to human weapons. The battle was over in minutes. The alien soldiers, despite their advanced armor and energy weapons, could not match human technology that seemed to bend the rules of physics. Cooper's squad moved through the enemy position, like they were fighting children with toy weapons. Command, this is Cooper, he reported. Alien position eliminated, no human casualties, the enemy is completely outclassed. Similar reports were coming in from human forces around the globe. The alien ground troops were being systematically eliminated by soldiers who fought with equipment that was decades ahead of anything the Zephyrians possessed. The invasion that was supposed to conquer Earth had become a demonstration of human military superiority. Dr. Rachel Green worked in her laboratory, analyzing captured alien technology with the help of her team. What they were discovering was both fascinating and disappointing. The Zephyrian Empire's technology was advanced, but it was also predictable and limited. Their weapons are powerful, she explained to Dr. Burke over the communication link, but they're based on principles we mastered 50 years ago. They never developed quantum manipulation or reality displacement technology. It's like they stopped innovating once they became the dominant species in their region. What about their faster-than-light travel? Burke asked. Crude but effective. They use brute force methods where we use elegant solutions. Our ships can travel 10 times faster than theirs and they use a fraction of the energy. The scientific analysis was confirming what the military had already discovered. The Zephyrian Empire was technologically inferior to humanity in almost every way. They had conquered other worlds through overwhelming numbers and superior organization, not through advanced technology. In space, the human fleet continued its systematic destruction of the alien forces. Lieutenant Commander Nina Foster led her squadron in a devastating attack on the alien supply ships, using reality displacement weapons that made the enemy vessels exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. This is Red Squadron, she reported. All alien supply vessels destroyed. Their remaining ships are running low on ammunition and fuel. The trapped alien fleet was dying slowly. Human weapons struck from impossible angles, appearing and disappearing before the Zephyrians could respond. Ships that tried to flee found their engines disabled by weapons that attacked their molecular structure. Those that tried to fight back discovered that their weapons could not penetrate human defenses. Admiral Krell sat in his command chair, watching his fleet being destroyed around him. His flagship was crippled, his officers were dead or wounded, and his communications with the Empire had been cut off by human jamming technology. The conquest of Earth had become the worst military disaster in Zephyrian history. Lieutenant Sam Parker piloted his experimental fighter through the alien formation, his weapons cutting through enemy ships like they were made of paper. The technology he was using had been developed in secret laboratories that the public knew nothing about. Humanity had been preparing for this day for decades. Another cruiser down, Parker reported. Sir, at this rate we'll have eliminated their entire fleet within the hour. The human counterattack was more than just a military victory. It was a demonstration of technological superiority that would change the balance of power in the galaxy. Every alien ship that was destroyed carried sensors and recording equipment that would send data back to the Zephyrian Empire about human capabilities. Major Cooper's ground forces had linked up with other human units throughout the planet. The alien invasion force was trapped in isolated pockets surrounded by human soldiers who were methodically eliminating every enemy position. The Zephyrians had no chance of escape or reinforcement. "This is Cooper to all ground units," he announced, over the military communication network. "The aliens are finished. We've eliminated their command structure and destroyed their supply lines. Begin final cleanup operations." The battle for Earth was effectively over. The alien invasion that was supposed to conquer humanity in a matter of days had been defeated in a matter of hours. The Zephyrian Empire had discovered that they had attacked the wrong species. In his crippled flagship, Admiral Krell finally understood the truth. The humans had never been primitive. They had been hiding their true capabilities, waiting for someone to make the mistake of attacking them. The Zephyrian Empire had walked into a trap that had been decades in the making. Captain Stone's voice came over the communication system again. "Admiral Krell, your fleet is destroyed. Your ground forces are eliminated. You have one chance to survive this. Surrender now and we might let you live long enough to warn your empire about what happens when someone attacks Earth." Krell looked around his destroyed bridge and realized he had no choice. The humans had won completely and utterly. The great Zephyrian Empire had been humbled by a species they had thought was weak and primitive. "I surrender," he whispered into his communication device. "We surrender." Admiral Krell was brought to Earth in chains that were made from materials he did not recognize. The human transport ship that carried him moved through space faster than any Zephyrian vessel could travel. Its walls seemed to absorb energy instead of reflecting it, and its weapons could apparently destroy matter at the molecular level. The alien commander sat in his cell and tried to understand what had happened. His fleet of 200 warships had been destroyed in less than 6 hours. His ground forces had been eliminated so quickly that some units never even had time to call for help. The species he had thought was primitive and weak had defeated the mighty Zephyrian Empire without breaking stride. President Karen Wells waited in the secure conference room deep beneath the White House. The room had been built for meetings that could never be made public, discussions of technologies and capabilities that the world was not ready to know about. Today she would speak with the alien who had tried to conquer her planet. The guards brought Krell into the room. Even in defeat, the alien was an imposing figure. 7 feet tall with dark skin and sharp features, he looked like something from humanity's oldest nightmares. But his eyes showed fear and confusion as he looked around the room filled with technology he could not identify. "Please sit," President Wells said politely, gesturing to a chair that had been designed to accommodate his larger frame. "We have much to discuss." Krell sat down reluctantly. "You are the leader of this world?" "I am the President of the United States and currently the spokesperson for Earth's unified government. My name is Karen Wells. You are Admiral Krell of the Zephyrian Third Expansion Fleet. Or rather, you were. Your fleet no longer exists." The alien's face showed a mixture of anger and confusion. "How did you know my name? How did you know about my fleet?" Wells smiled in a way that made Krell feel cold inside. "Admiral, we've known about you and your empire for over 50 years. We've been watching your expansion across the galaxy, studying your technology, and learning about your military tactics. We know more about the Zephyrian Empire than most of your own people do." General Patricia Hayes entered the room carrying a datapad filled with information that would shatter everything Krell thought he knew about the galaxy. She set it on the table in front of the alien commander and activated the holographic display. "This is a map of Zephyrian space," Hayes explained. "Every world you've conquered, every fleet you've deployed, every military installation you've built, we've been tracking all of it through our deep space monitoring network." Krell stared at the display in shock. The humans had detailed information about military bases that were supposed to be top secret. They knew about fleet movements that had been classified at the highest levels. They even had accurate population counts for worlds that were hundreds of light years from Earth. "Impossible," he whispered. "You don't have the technology for that kind of surveillance." Your ships can barely leave your own solar system. That's what we wanted you to think, Wells replied. The truth is quite different. Show him, General. Hayes activated another display that showed the real extent of human space operations. Colonies that had been hidden behind asteroids and gas giants. Mining operations that were actually military bases. Research stations that were really advanced weapons platforms. Humans had been operating throughout the galaxy for decades without anyone knowing. Dr. Stephen Burke joined the meeting, carrying files that contained information about human technological capabilities. Admiral Krell, your empire made a fundamental error in judgment. You assumed that what you could see was all that existed. You never considered that an intelligent species might choose to hide their true capabilities. But why? Krell asked desperately. Why hide? Why pretend to be weak when you could dominate the galaxy? Burke sat down across from the alien commander. Because we learned something that your empire never did. The most dangerous enemy is the one you don't see coming. We studied your expansion patterns and realized that you always attacked species that appeared weak or divided. So we made sure to appear weak and divided. Captain Ryan Davis entered the room with a report that would complete Krell's education about human strategic thinking. Admiral, we didn't just hide our military capabilities. We actively encouraged you to attack us. What do you mean? Every piece of intelligence your scouts gathered about Earth was carefully crafted to make us look like the perfect target. We showed you primitive weapons while hiding our advanced ones. We displayed our conflicts while concealing our unity. We made you think we were defenseless when we were actually preparing to destroy you. Wells leaned forward in her chair. Admiral, your invasion wasn't a failure of intelligence. It was the most successful intelligence operation in galactic history. We convinced an entire empire to attack us so we could demonstrate our true capabilities to the galaxy. Dr. Rachel Green arrived with the final piece of the puzzle. She carried analysis reports about Zephyrian technology that would explain why the battle had been so one-sided. Your empire's technology is approximately 200 years behind ours, she explained. You conquered other worlds because they were even more primitive than you are. But you never encountered a species that was actually advanced. Krell felt his worldview crumbling. 200 years? But we are the most advanced civilization in the galaxy. No, Admiral. You're the most aggressive civilization in this region of the galaxy. There's a difference. We've been watching dozens of species like yours expand and conquer through brute force while we develop technologies that make your weapons look like stone tools. Captain Alex Stone joined the meeting to deliver the information that would terrify the alien commander more than anything else he had learned. Admiral, we didn't just defeat your fleet. We studied it. Every ship you brought here was completely mapped and analyzed before we destroyed it. We know everything about your technology now. More importantly, Stone continued, we've attached tracking devices to every ship that escaped. They're carrying our message back to your empire whether they know it or not. Krell's face went pale. What message? President Wells stood up and walked to the window that showed the Earth's surface. Cities were already being rebuilt with technology that could repair the alien damage in a matter of days. The message is simple, Admiral. Leave humanity alone. Forever. General Hayes activated one final display that showed the true scope of human military preparation. Every major power on Earth has been working together for 50 years to prepare for this day. We built weapons that could destroy entire fleets. We developed defenses that could protect our planet from any attack. We created a military force that could defeat any enemy we might encounter. But most importantly, Hayes continued, we learned to work together. Your empire conquers through division and fear. We survive through unity and preparation. Dr. Burke pulled up files showing human colonies that had been established throughout the galaxy. We're not confined to this solar system, Admiral. We have settlements on hundreds of worlds that your empire doesn't know about. If you ever attack us again, we won't just defend ourselves. We'll destroy every Zephyrian world in the galaxy. Captain Davis showed Krell images of weapons that violated every law of physics the alien understood. These are our planet killers, Admiral. Each one can destroy a world from the other side of the galaxy. We built them specifically to make sure that no one would ever attack Earth twice. Wells returned to her seat and looked directly at the defeated alien commander. Admiral Krell, you and your surviving crew will be returned to Zephyrian space. You will carry our message to your empire. Earth is not to be disturbed again. Ever. Any ship that enters our solar system without permission will be destroyed. Any attack on human colonies will result in the complete destruction of the Zephyrian Empire. Krell sat in stunned silence as the implications sank in. His empire had not just lost a battle. They had discovered that they were children playing with toys, while humanity possessed weapons that could reshape the galaxy. The humans had allowed the attack to proceed not because they were caught off guard, but because they wanted to send a message that would be heard across the stars. You used us, he whispered finally. Yes, Wells replied without apology. We used your empire as an object lesson for the rest of the galaxy. Everyone will know what happened here. They'll know that attacking Earth is suicide. They'll know that humanity is not to be trifled with. The alien commander was led back to his transport ship with knowledge that would change the balance of power throughout the galaxy. The Zephyrian Empire would spread word of a species that was far more dangerous than anyone had imagined. They would tell stories of humans who fought with technologies that seemed like magic, who treated warfare as both science and art, and who had turned their entire civilization into a weapon disguised as a peaceful society. The galaxy learned a new rule that day. Some species looked weak because they chose to look weak, and those were the most dangerous species of all.